in my updated theory, here we have the stone, or the rope here, which characterizes this right here. Okay, and then we have the Incan rock, and this is a finished one. We've got 50%, or we've got sand here, right here, and sand. And the rope will either be wet or not wet with the sand. And it's moved back and forth through the sand matrix that's on here. And it slowly takes off a little bit, say 10% of the bottom side and 10% of the top. And there's another thing that I took a look at. In the tools that I've seen a hammer, and I've seen this wedge right here. This stone wedge. I believe they use wedges. This was not a hammering device, this is what I've seen. It's, I don't know, about 2 feet long. But what would happen is we start with we have the sand on here, and we cut halfway across. Then what we need to do is put a little wedge right here to keep this. You just put it in while the rope is still in there. And then as we're cutting, keep on cutting across more and more to about right here, then we would put in another wedge on the front face right here, and then we'd continue our cut. So we'll have a wedge here, and probably a wedge. Well, I'll show you up on the top. After the rope is pulled through, then this would be lifted again right here. The wedges would be pulled out, and more sand would be added to where we wanted it, and we do it all over again. And as you can see, this is you're always going to cut down to your right. So we'd come down to the bottom of the new stone, which is right here. We'd have a wedge in the top there. We would come over a little ways, put another wedge in, keep going a little bit more, put another wedge in, and then finish it off. After we pick this up, we take the wedges out, put some more sand in, start all over again. This is the stone prop right here, which is shown on the, which is probably wood that they use to pick the stone up. Now I don't know if any of you know about tombstones or stones that are finished like that, but the most dangerous, most fragile part of any cut stone block are these edges right here, because you can't really pick these things up when you move them. You have to walk them. A lot of times in the shops they'll walk them like this, back forth, back forth, back forth. But if you hit these edges right down here and you break them, then the draftsmen have to recut them, and they get really pissed off about it. So anyway, that ties into my next part of my theory. On some of the stones I've seen in Cusco, in the temple there, they have both sides of the stone done. Okay, that presents a problem, because some of the stones have nubs on them, some don't. In order for my theory to work, they would have to have nubs on one side and then the other side, and then they'd have to take them off, and which is, they just couldn't do it. Well, they just didn't do it. So what I noticed on some of the stones, and this was in some of the other building too, they have a 180-degree round divot, I would say, cut out. This is looking at the stone like this. Okay. They have a round divot cut out right here. No nubs here and no nubs here. This is your face and your face. This is going to be done on each side. You could even use it if you wanted to do the one side, if you didn't want any nubs at all on it. Wouldn't matter. But what the guy had was, he had a 180-degree cut here. Then what he'd do is he'd be able to get to the front face on this side and the other face on this side by using a piece of wood, I believe, shaped in an L shape, but the bottom of the wood would be flat right here, and it would match the 180-degree hole. Then he would slide the wood into the hole right here. I don't know how deep or long it was. It really doesn't matter, because stone doesn't give like wood. Once you lift it, it all lifts the same way. So then what he'd do is he'd take that pry bar thing right here, he'd pull back on it after he had it in here, and the stone would slowly go like that. Okay, then he could work on that side. Then if he wanted to work on the other side, he'd put his pry bar in here like this, and he'd go like this, and it would lift the stone up this way. See? Because the most dangerous places are these edges. Once the edges are busted, they don't grow back. You have to, like this edge is busted right here, you have to reshape the stone. That's why they have to be very careful trying to get the finish work right. So that's how they did that. My theory is still holding. And that's what I've got so far. But I really do think that this is a great mystery, and I could be completely wrong, but it's still a great mystery, and I think it's really interesting. Okay, that's I've just solved the greatest Incan mystery of the last 500 years. Thank you.